Thanks so much, Andrew. And thank you so much to Brendan Kieran for that remarkable welcome to country. It is a great privilege to be here with you in the room and virtually, but here in the room on Gadigal country, where, as Brendan so eloquently described, Aboriginal people have owned, stewarded and cared for this country for thousands of years. So I'd like to also acknowledge those traditional owners, past, present and emerging, and acknowledge all and any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are with us in our summit today. Also, real acknowledgement to our Minister, the Minister for Health and Aged Care, the Honourable Mark Butler MP, who, as Andrew said, you can see the strong support that he and the Australian Government are lending to this work and to the sort of things we're all coming together to think about today in the context of the future of healthcare and healthcare reform in Australia. I thank too all of those who've come here, those who are going to share their expertise and their insights with us today, and of course in the room and many more online. And to the teams that have come together to bring this event together, it has been a remarkable sense of collaboration, a great spirit of wanting to share and engage ideas, and we're looking forward to you all being a part of that. And last, but absolutely not least, to our collaborators and the leaders in clinical governance, the Australian Commission on Quality and Safety in Healthcare, with my colleague Chris Leahy here with me today, and of course so many members of the team who've, with the Australian Digital Health Agency team, really come together to bring this to you. So before Chris adds his welcome, because we wanted to share this very deliberately, to stand together and welcome you together, I just want to set the scene a little bit for C3.0, Connect, Care, Confidence. And then Chris is going to really bring that into some real practical examples and considerations to start the day. So what are we trying to do today? Well, what we're trying to do here is to start a national conversation about connected healthcare and why clinical safety, quality improvement and robust models of clinical governance are so vitally important to all of us who are engaged in innovation, technological change and digital supports for the health system. And the idea of this is to kickstart today, but it's a conversation that we want to go on well beyond our time together this afternoon. If you just think about where we are, and you heard it from the Minister, you'll hear it all through the day, we have access to digital tools now that are just beyond where we've ever been before. We know we can deliver healthcare services faster, in blended, new and now non-traditional methods. We can do it right across the care environment and in a broad range of settings. And what we're seeing, of course, and we've seen over the last few years, is a remarkable accelerated uptake of these digital tools, by both healthcare consumers and by providers. And they're taking them up with an ever-increasing pace, and with this promise that we're going to get greater efficiency and accessibility to better health and care services. One of the keys that's coming out of this is how we harness the power of the data that we're gathering through those processes, and it's critical to the success of our future connected healthcare system. What we've seen in the past and what we're really here to try and grapple with is that in the absence of good clinical governance, we know that unintended harm can occur. And that harm can ripple through the community, including long-term impacts on the healthcare providers who are part of it. As leaders, stewards and innovators in this technology wave, we have a duty to tackle the safety conversation and to raise the bar. And some of this is going to be possibly difficult and confronting, but that is what we're here to do today, to really start the conversation that need to be had to really get under the hood of things like balancing clinical risk and usability, dealing with pace and managing all of the new questions that are coming up. We're going to hear from this in a range of ways through the days, but one of them you'll hear this afternoon, Dr. Jordan Ewan, who's the young Australian biomedical engineer who is transforming the lives of people with disabilities and elders by fusing human capacity with intelligent machinery. It's remarkable. And it will show us just how powerful this sense of a person-centred innovation using these new tools and technologies can be, how powerful the impact of that is. And what we're seeing now and what we're contemplating is just, it's nothing short of mind-blowing. But what we're going to do here today is ask about the questions that we need to examine about how we set in place and sustain good clinical governance underpinning this rapid change paradigm. And the sheer pace of this change is really challenging traditional governance models, and it raises a whole set of ethical and moral questions, of process challenges, of things cutting across all of the elements of the work we do, some of which are novel. We are working these out as we move through this remarkable pace of change. And we're doing it in a system that is vast. It is still frequently fragmented, and one of the things we're trying to do together is to bring that closer together. It is often vertically siloed, and we're looking about how we bust through that to provide more connected care. And we're seeing just this extraordinary pace and scale of change. So in all of that, it's a pause moment to ask these kind of questions together. And as the Minister said, it's the right time. In our view, it's the right time to be elevating this conversation to a national level, and that is what we're hoping you'll all really enjoy being part of today. Just as we see the next wave of change, and you see that in the Minister's comments, we'll talk about it more through the day, we are moving to the next wave of health reform, and digital tools and technologies will be a key platform for change. So with us today are all of you, early adopters, many of you ahead of the curve, many of you already grappling with this in your organisations. And I'm hoping some of you who are still going, is this something I need to be thinking about? Do we need to have this conversation? Because that is what we want to elicit here today, that ability to have a dynamic conversation at this key moment as you think about things, service design, product development, digital innovation, whatever part of the system you're in, how is this going to apply and what do we need to think about and do together? So wherever you are on that journey, today we're going to put the spotlight on clinical governance and explore how we grow its importance as we transform and as we continue to transform the system together. And we're so grateful and lucky to have so many diverse speakers who are going to take us there from a whole range of angles, including their individual lived experiences of healthcare and what that means, through to people with different reflections from different parts of the health ecosystem, those who support it through digital enablement tools. It is going to bring a rich tapestry of ideas to us together. And really what I'm asking you and what I'm going to be doing is challenging myself as we go through this conversation. Have we got enough? Have we tested and reconsidered what our role and our organisation looks in this changing world for the purpose of delivering clinically safe, quality, usable and continually improving digital innovations? It's a journey that we're on at the Australian Digital Health Agency, and you'll hear Steve and I talk about that a bit more today, and we are doing the same thing as we have this conversation with you, continually reflecting and improving. So we want to help lead, we want to help partner, we want to help inform, share and challenge in ways that will help enable you, our industry and healthcare colleagues and partners to join us on the journey towards an Australian digital health sector rooted in clinical safety and governance. I'm now going to pass to my colleague, Chris Leahy, the Acting Chief Executive of the Australian Commission on Safety and Quality in Healthcare, who's going to set the scene further, including his insights into clinical governance working in practice. Thank you, Chris, and thank you.
Thank you, Amanda, and thank you to Brendan for such a raw and honest welcome to country, and I extend my acknowledgement and respect to Aboriginal people from the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. And thank you to Minister Butler for his support of initiatives such as these, which allow people from all over health to connect and to collaborate. I'd like to also reach out and thank the consumers who will share their stories today and their experiences, and the experts that we will hear from throughout the day. It's an honour to be speaking here today, and for our organisation to be working so closely with the Australian Digital Health Agency for this event. At the Australian Commission on Safety and Quality in Healthcare, clinical governance is at the heart of what we do. It is by design that it sits at the top of our national standards across acute, primary, community managed organisations and digital health. As Amanda spoke about, when we look at patient safety incidents and shortcomings in healthcare, they often stem from lapses or gaps in clinical governance. But what do we mean when we use the term clinical governance? And everyone will have their own interpretation, their own definition. But what we mean at the Commission is a set of relationships and responsibilities. These relationships exist between healthcare providers. They exist between Commonwealth, state and territory health departments. They exist with governing bodies, and they run through executives, clinicians, patients and consumers. And each of those stakeholders has a responsibility to ensure good clinical governance, to ensure good clinical outcomes. And for digital health, clinical governance has come into sharp focus with the rapid uptake of virtual care, including telehealth. During the pandemic, COVID changed the landscape forever. It forced us to embrace new technology and new ideas. And we expect a lot from this new technology. We want it to integrate care for the patients. We want it to reduce unwarranted variation. We want it to support equity of access. And we want it to deliver better patient-centred care. But without good clinical governance, particularly in digital health, we can't be certain we are delivering safe or high-quality healthcare, nor can we guarantee that we are continuously improving our services with our digital technology. Amanda spoke about adapting existing governance arrangements to suit the ever-changing needs of the digital health space and tackling the really difficult issues in healthcare. And there's never a shortage of complex issues in healthcare, as you would all appreciate in the room. And I want to take this opportunity just to expand on two issues that I'd like you to think about as we have our discussions today. And these are areas that would benefit from the power of the information transfer that we are able to achieve in this day and age to communicate in the digital world, but have probably, if we're being honest with ourselves, not reached its full potential yet. And I encourage you to reflect on these complex issues and other issues that you wish to tackle during today's discussions. And the first issue that I'd like to raise is around transitions of care. And this is an area that could be significantly improved by the uptake of digital technologies. And picking up on Amanda's point, currently 50% of medication errors occur when patients transfer care between providers or between settings. And we can all agree that the rapid transfer of information for the patient between their care providers, for example through electronic discharge summaries, would be of great benefit to both patient and clinician. And yet when we audit these electronic discharge summaries, we know that 40% of the time changes made to medication in hospitals are not indicated in the discharge summary, or the reason why that change was made is not indicated in the discharge summary. So the challenge is twofold. It's not just about enabling the use of technology, as Minister Butler and Amanda said, but we need to also have the right clinical governance to ensure quality and safety. And I'd like to just talk about one other issue, one other complex issue for today, and that's the issue of possibly preventable hospitalisations. And when we look at these types of hospitalisations, we know that 50% of the 750,000 admissions to hospital a year that this creates are due to 5 diseases, 5 conditions: COPD, heart failure, diabetes, kidney and urinary tract infections, and cellulitis. They make up almost 50% of those hospitalisations. And despite our best efforts to change the models of care and to integrate technology into those models of care, the rate of hospitalisations for those conditions has continued to rise in Australia over the last 5 years. And the question that we must ask ourselves is, how could we better use digital technology to improve the patient outcomes and improve the care that we are providing for this cohort of patients, who often have multiple chronic conditions and multiple providers? How do we come together using our governance systems and processes to link the patient journey across many settings and many providers? And as Amanda alluded to, there are many examples of where this has been done extraordinarily well, world leaders in this space, but we can always do more. And these two examples are just a fraction of the complex issues that face our health system every day. And there are many areas where digital technology can make a bigger impact. I really look forward to the discussions today as people share their experiences, share their learnings, and we continue to accelerate the uptake of digital technology, but do it in a way where clinical governance is at the heart of everything we do. Thank you very much.